Good day, everyone. So today we're going to look at writing the conclusion. So what is conclusion basically is to inform your reader that you're ending your essay. So it is basically the last part of your essay is the fifth paragraph. What you do here, you restate the thesis statement, you review the point, and also providing your final thought. It is to inform your readers that you are ending your essay. So your reader must have this question in mind. So what? So you have to answer that. So what? What is the take up point from this? What action should they do after reading your essay? Your conclusion should give that point to your readers. So basically it provides a closure and drives the main point of your essay. One last time, this means that you are reviewing the main point. Why should you review the main point? Because your reader have read 3 paragraphs. They might actually forget what is the first main point. So you need to review the points in your conclusion. And then to sell, this is what I meant by the so what. You have to help your readers see why your essay matters to them. So what? What is the take up point? Why should they read? What action should they do? Let's say you're talking about pollution. So what is their next action? Should they still pollute? That is what you should actually emphasize in your conclusion. So let's look at the what are the key aspects to remember. So remember, like I said just now, it is not adding of new points. You are just reviewing, restating, and adding only your final thoughts. Okay, so which means your essay conclusion should restate, not rewrite the thesis statement. Okay, which means you don't write a new thesis. You just restate back what you have stated in your thesis in the introduction paragraph. Okay, next is your essay should consist only 3 sentences at the minimum. Okay, and then you conclude with a thought, not presenting new idea. What is your feeling about all of this? All of the point that you have said, what would you say? Give your own voice. Give your own thoughts to it. Okay? So now, let's look at the elements. So you would have a conclusion starter. This conclusion starter is basically one line that rephrases your thesis statement. You just need to rephrase your thesis statement, what you have written in your introduction, just rephrase it in your first sentence of your conclusion. And then provide at least 2 or 3 sentences that wrap up your main points. Okay, so what are the main points in the 3 main paragraphs? You wrap up, you just review these points in your summary. Okay, that is the next 2 to 3 sentences. And then you explain how is all of this fits together. How is all these points, the 3 points that I've explained, how does this fit together as a whole? Okay, and then you have a concluding sentence. This is where you state your final thought, which means you provide a sense of closure. For example, you say, so I urge every reader to actually take a moment to think about what would happen to the earth if every one of us pollute the earth. There will be no place for us. So therefore, I urge everyone to take prevention measures, as in to keep this earth safe by recycling, for example. This is providing a sense of closure. You are connecting back your readers to the introduction. You're providing your own thought. Okay, so writing a song concluding sentence, it is challenging, but it creates a clear structure. Okay, so the conclusion is your last chance to impress your reader and to tell your reader that my essay is worth reading, that I have given you points that you should take into consideration about a topic. Okay, so the so what, your readers would actually take back something out of your essay. Okay, so basically this is what, or this is how you write the conclusion, and what are the elements that consist of your essay, of your conclusion. Okay, that's it for the infographic. Okay, now let's look at the practice. So if you look at the practice, we have notes in the beginning. So I'm just going to briefly explain to you what is all these notes about. Okay, now I'm going to re-explain to you how do you conclude in your essay. So like I mentioned just now, you need to restate your thesis by paraphrasing, and then you review your main point. For that, you need to summarize all your argument by paraphrasing the points. Okay, and then how do you provide your final thought is to connect back to your essay. For example, if your hook says, if your hook actually says that experience is a better teacher, then you could actually say in your closing statement that therefore I urge everyone to look for more experience instead of reading books or listening to lecture, because experience truly a greater teacher. So that is how you write your closing statement or your final thought. So when you combine all of this, you provide a good conclusion. So here what I want to highlight is your structure to your conclusion. So here, if you see, I have a triangle here, right? So this triangle has a very narrow top and a very wide uh, base. Okay, so this is how your conclusion looks like. You start with something very specific, which is your rephrase thesis statement, and then you end with something that is very general, which is your final thought. Unlike your introduction, this is when your introduction, you would have to start with a very wide base, which is the opposite triangle, okay, the upside down triangle, where you have a very wide base, very general, which is your hook, and then you move to very specific, which is your thesis statement. So unlike your introduction, your conclusion will start with something very specific, which is your thesis, and then a very wide base, which is your final thought. This is the structure for your conclusion. Now, let's look at an example. This is how your introduction, how long would your introduction look like? So you would start with a rephrase thesis statement, one sentence. You have a summarized point, two sentences, and then your final thought, one sentence. So you don't need to write a very long paragraph for your conclusion because you're ending. So keep it simple by having a very short paragraph for your conclusion. Now, how do we actually use all of these elements to construct your essay? Conclusion. So now, let's look at sentence number one. Sentence number one means you need to restate your thesis. So, for example, let's say if your thesis are dogs are better pets than cats. So how do you paraphrase this? You paraphrase by saying dog makes the best pet in the world. So ideas are still the same, but all you do is just change this into a different sentence by paraphrasing. Now, your sentence 2 to 4 is your review of argument, summarizing the point, and to prove your thesis, which means what you have done from paragraph 2 right up to paragraph 4. So you can actually say it in one line like this: dogs are cleaner, better at showing affection, and ultimately easier to train. So you can have it in one sentence, or you can actually expand it to 2 to 4 sentences. Okay. Now, your final sentence is to connect back to your essay hook and then relate back to your statement. So how would your final sentence or final thought would be? It would be very simple, like change your life for better, go get a dog. Can be as simple as this. Okay. So when you combine all of this together, you get a simple conclusion paragraph or concluding paragraph. Okay. So this is good. This is already good. But what you need to add more is a transition word. So if you add your transition, it makes the flow of your essay better. Your transition would inform, okay, to your reader that, okay, this writer is going to end the essay. So it makes it cohesive and coherent. So you add this, and then you have your whole good conclusion done here. Okay, I hope you understand what I have actually explained in this lecture. So now what we are going to do is, if you have understood, you need to first identify the structure. So practice 9 and practice 10 would need you to actually identify the structure of the conclusion. So here I have the short conclusion here. I need you to identify this and then present it and put it into this boxes, okay, according to the elements. Okay, next, similar to practice 10, and then from practice 11 onwards, I need you to come up with your own conclusion. So what I have here is thesis statement. State your thesis statement. The topic is similar with the previous practices. Okay, so you just need to copy. Make sure when you copy, make sure you have the right thesis that I have commented. Correct your thesis statement, then state your thesis statement here. And then briefly state your main idea 1, 2, and 3. Also make sure you have corrected your ideas and then rewrite it here. Briefly, okay, just state your main idea only, and then I need a full sentence for your conclusion, your rephrase thesis, your summarize, and your final thought. Similar to practice 12, 13, 14, and so on. So for practice 12, practice 12 onwards, I need you to actually come up with a whole essay. So you need to actually write your whole connecting idea, thesis statement, and so on until practice 14. So this is your practice. I need to see whether do you understand. Once you have done all of this practice, upload this practice, rename this practice with your name. So for example, if this title is Muet Writing Practice, and then underscore your name, okay, and then upload to Padlet team, and I will give you my comment, and then that's it for this week's lecture and class. Okay, so that's it for today. Next, all the rest of the introduction I'll provide via Telegram and also Moodle. Okay, thank you.